Make sure you guys enunciate your words,
Thank you. I'll
Clear your
try.
throat.
We should have a theme song like.
5, 4.
Hello, and welcome to the T&O Show. I'm your co-host, Omari Tatum.
And I'm also your co-host, Taylor Thomas. Today we will be speaking with Mrs. Laurel Wagner.
This is Wagner, future millionaire, marketing and communications principal.
Today we will be talking with Miss Laurel Wagner. What is it that you do, Miss Laurel Wagner?
Well, I'm a principal of Wagner Marketing LLC. As the owner, I've been in the industry for over 15 years. I've had Wagner Marketing for 8 years now, but I've been doing marketing and public relations work for a long, long time, and I've worked for a variety of clients. I'm a generalist in my field, and I enjoy what I do.
What is your personal definition of marketing?
Marketing is a way of communicating a product that you or a service that you want to sell to a customer. So there's a variety of ways to do that: print, media, advertising, public relations, online communications. There's a lot of ways to market, and marketers are finding new ways every day to try to reach people that might want to buy what they're selling.
Do you love what you do?
I love what I do.
That's good.
What influenced you to go into this type of marketing?
Well, I've always enjoyed words. I've always enjoyed the power of words and the ability to persuade with writing and with communication. And so this has always made sense to me as a field.
When you first started, would you have thought that you were going to succeed or that you were going to fail?
You know, when I first started, I wasn't entirely sure that I wanted what I wanted to do. I thought that advertising would be fun. I always liked really well-made TV ads, and I thought it could be really interesting to help craft that because sometimes they were very powerful. And I knew that that being able to convince somebody to part with their dollars is one of the best ways to reach people and obviously to make money doing it. So I thought that could be kind of fun. So I went into advertising. I went to work for an ad agency, and I thought that that would be the best place to be. And I learned a lot. And working for small to medium-sized businesses, I had more opportunity than if I'd gone to work for a large company because they let you try new things. They let you move around from different departments to other departments, even if they don't necessarily correlate to what you do for the company. They're just a lot more flexible. And I've had a great amount of success. I worked for Kuhn & Wittenborn Advertising, and they were very fun to work for. They were very flexible and willing to let me try new things. And it really gave me an idea of where I wanted to go next in my career.
With you owning your own business, what is some of the differences between you owning your own business besides having a big business like Walmart and stores like that?
Oh, well, they're huge amounts. Obviously, you know, income is one of them. I'm not making as much as Walmart makes, but certainly the ability, and this is one of the things I liked about working with small and medium-sized companies, the ability to turn on a dime. So when the industry changes or when the market changes, smaller is more flexible, and it's always going to be true. I have the ability to, I have a good network of people that I work with on a regular basis, and I have the ability to contact them and gear up right away if I have a large client. And if I don't, then I can scale down. And nobody gets hurt. I don't have to fire people because I'm networking with people who already have their own businesses. So we can combine and become a team when we need to. And when we don't need to, then we can go ahead and do our own thing. It's a lot more flexible.
Have you had a downfall? And if you have, will you please explain?
Well, marketing and especially advertising agencies are really known for binging and purging. I don't know if you've heard that when it comes to hiring. So if they get a big client, like if they land Walmart as an account, then they will hire a bunch of people to help manage that account. But then if they lose that account, they end up firing a lot of people. So I've been fired many times, and I'm okay with that. You have to be okay with that because in the industry and even in the world today, nothing's guaranteed. So having my own business is nice, because if I lose a client, I still have a job. It's still my company and it's still my business. And it's taught me a lot. You have to be resilient and you have to be okay with getting fired because things change. I mean, industries change and businesses will close up shop. You get laid off because, you know, suddenly the job that you had for 20 years isn't there anymore because the industry's changed. It's not the way it used to be. It's really hard to get one job and stay in it for your entire career. And it's better to be nimble right now.
What you talking about people getting laid off and stuff like that, what is your type of person you would hire? Like, what's your, what qualities do they have to have?
Oh, if I was going to hire someone?
Yes.
Well, it has to be, I like working with people that I can trust. That's the number one thing. Almost all the clients that I have now, I've worked with on other projects, so I know them, I kind of know their work style, and I know that I can trust them. They're very reliable, they can call me. They know that right now, the job that I have, my number one client that I'm working with, I'm on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if they need me to come out in the middle of the night, I will. And they know that they can count on me to do that because I've done that for them before. So that kind of trust is huge, and that's the number one thing that I look for.
Besides from all the business talk, how was your high school life, your high school experience? And just being a high schooler, a teenager, and wanting to do, did you want to do like marketing and stuff back in the day, or did you have to did you change your mind about it?
Well, I went to school in Lincoln, Nebraska, so I'm not even from around here. And high school was interesting because we had a combined high school. It was a junior high and a high school combined. So from 7th grade through 12th grade, I worked for, well, I always loved writing. I always liked writing stories. And we had a junior high newspaper. So I started out writing stories for the junior high newspaper, and I learned journalism from doing it. And then we had a magazine, and then we had a newspaper for the high school as well. And then we had a poetry annual. And I wrote for all of them because I really enjoyed writing. And so that gave me at least the idea that I enjoyed writing and I enjoyed communications. And I might know a little bit about newspaper publishing because we did everything. We did the layout, we did the whole bit at our school. So I got a lot of hands-on experience, and we had a really good program. And I was able to take some of that over to my college. I went to the University of Nebraska at that point. So we had a daily Nebraskan newspaper, which was kind of different for the time because a lot of colleges publish weekly. We published daily, and so they won a ton of awards because of the work that they did. The journalism program was very good there. I didn't go into journalism because I wasn't sure that's what I wanted to do. Honestly, I had to maintain a B average to be in journalism school, and I wasn't sure I could pull that off. So I had a lot of other things I was doing, and I was like, so I didn't want that kind of pressure. But as an English major, I was allowed to work there because of the amount of experience I had coming in. And I came in as a freshman, and they didn't normally hire freshmen to work on the paper. But I had enough experience at that point, they let me come in, and it was a good opportunity. And they did other publications too, and I had the opportunity to write for those, and I continued to do English. And I did film and theater as well, so I had a lot of, we did script writing, and we did some other things. So it was a good opportunity to see a lot of different kinds of venues for communication. And from there, I knew that I enjoyed kind of the industry, and I did a student film internship at college as well, and that gave me, a look into a whole other kind of business, and I was considering doing internships in Hollywood and doing some other things, but I took a different route and came to Kansas City. I decided I wanted to do advertising instead, so I got a job down here at an advertising agency out in Overland Park, and I worked there for a while and then moved on.
About your personal life, about you being in high school, what are some of the times where you didn't believe in yourself, where things went for a turn?
Well, I mean, in high school, I think it's hard because you're still trying to figure out exactly who you are and where you want to be, and it's difficult. And you get pulled in a lot of different directions. Your friends might be going one way, your family might be going another way. I remember one time my dad told me, because he was helping pay for my schooling, that he didn't want me to be a theater major because there was no way I'd ever make money doing that, but if I went into writing, it would be okay because I could probably make a career out of it. And while I felt at the time I could have gone either way, and I don't know what that would have brought, I heard what he was saying, and I recognized that he was helping pay the bills, and so I went down the English major route. So it's difficult. When you're in high school, there's a lot of opportunity, but there's nothing wrong with looking at all of it. You have the time, you can test it out. Just see what you like, see what you don't like. And it helps if you think about it, whether or not you can make money doing it. Because sometimes it might be something you love, but being practical is something that you need to take into consideration too. While it might be a passion, it could be a hobby as opposed to a career. and you don't know until you start going down that path a little bit, and you meet other people in the industry and talk to them, and they'll tell you frankly how it is.
Would you mind naming a few steps that someone who wanted to make a business as doing what you do, and just kind of be in your position, name a few steps that someone should take to do that?
Well, I mean, you don't have to be a certain age to start a business, and I think that's this year and right now has taught us that. I mean, there are kids starting up startup businesses online, starting inventions and creating them and building businesses off of that. There's no age to start. So if you want to start a business, if you think it's something you're interested in doing, do it now. I mean, it doesn't take much to start up a business, like $25 maybe. You get a business license, you license with the state, maybe open a checking account with your business name so that you've got that established, so if you make money off of it, you have a place to put it. And that's about it. I mean, it doesn't take much to start. So the dedication, the work hours you're putting in, know that whatever you're going to need for your business, you're going to have to do, and you're going to have to do it quickly. So as long as you have the passion to do it, the time to put into it, you can do it.
About your business, if you could change something about it or go back and start over, what would you change?
I took 2 years off because I had my own business, and I worked on a lot of different projects. And I worked on the Bond Bridge I-35 rebuild, the KC Icon project, and I worked on that with Clarkson Construction and the joint venture that was part of that. And I took time off because my husband became an elected official, and I felt that was going to be a conflict for him. So I stopped going after public work, and I stopped doing my own business thing for a while. I kind of put it on the back burner because I was afraid that it would be an ethical conflict for him. And I regret doing that because I don't think it was necessary for me to do that. I was kind of uncertain, and I didn't ask, and I didn't check into it further. I just took a job in the private sector so I'd stay away from the public sector. And I didn't have to do that. I did it because I panicked. So I would recommend, before you make a big move, to consider it first and check it all out. But don't be afraid.
Do you feel that being in marketing and making your own business, like, was it hard starting it, or did you know exactly what you want to do at the time, and did you feel really confident about doing another business?
Well, when I was working at advertising agencies, I did some freelancing work, and that was a good way to kind of get my feet wet, but I didn't feel like I had enough experience under my belt to really start my own business, because part of what I needed, at least in my industry, is the more experience you have, the more likely people are to hire you. So I wanted to make sure that I really knew the industry in and out before I got started. And I think freelancing and I think taking those opportunities apart from your regular business is a good way to get started, so you have the confidence that you need. But experience is everything. And the more great projects that I landed, the more large clients that I worked with, the more people started to realize that I knew what I was doing and I could be hired. And at that point, my resume is pretty much all I need at this point to get hired.
Going back to what you said about you panicking about going private because of your husband getting elected for council of that nature, starting you going back to it, has it ever been a situation to where it did affect him in his public work?
Well, I have competition in the area that I'm in right now. There are other people who do public involvement work for the DOTs. There are some friends of mine who I worked with before and who know my husband, and I know them pretty well, and I've worked with them on other jobs. They were interested in hiring me to their firm. I think partially so I wasn't competition, so they didn't have to go up against me for contracts, but also because they knew the experience and they knew what it was like to work with me, and they thought I would be a good addition to the team. And we talked that through, and at the end of the day, they decided that they weren't comfortable because my husband would have to recuse himself from voting on certain jobs that they might be taking part in. He would have to step away and say, I'm sorry, I'm too close to this. You know, my wife would be directly benefiting from this contract if it was awarded, so I can't vote. And they decided that they didn't want to lose his vote because there are enough people that they were working with that it was important that they had that influence. and that's why they considered working with them in the first place. They didn't want me to be the factor that kept them from winning it. So it may or may not be a factor, but it's a consideration. So there's a partnership there that I didn't take on because of my husband. So
Has your husband, has he like made a big impact on your business?
He's very supportive in what I'm doing, and he's helped me craft my message a little bit better for Wagner Marketing. He's helped me tell my own story, because I'm really, and this is something I think a lot of businesses do, they're really good about helping their clients and their customers, and they're good at what they do, but when it comes to talking about themselves, they have trouble. And I'm really good at helping other people talk about their story, but I have trouble talking about my own. And I think it's because it's just me at my business, and so it feels like I'm bragging, and it's difficult to do that a little bit. And so my husband has helped me get over some of that. He recognizes that I need to talk about my abilities. He's helped me through that. So.
About your husband, can you give us a recap of him?
Yeah.
About him, tell him about him.
Scott Wagner is a Kansas City City Councilman for the 1st District. He has the at-large seat, which means he runs citywide. But it means that we still have to live in the 1st District, which is, at this point, I think the 1st District is, it changed while he was running, so we had to move out of our house. And I think at this point it is north of the river, like about Front Street, and it goes up north to where 435 tops out, I think, at the top, near the airport. And then on the east border, I think it goes all the way over to Liberty. On the west border, about North Oak is where it stops. So it's that boundary. And then he represents all the people inside that boundary, and then also the city at large. So he's been involved in a lot of initiatives citywide for the most part, and then some development work for that district and 1st District.
Well, I think we are done here. It was nice speaking with you, Mrs. Wagner, and I hope you had a very good time.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity.
You're welcome. Thank you for watching this show. Have a good day, you guys.